morning, everyone. Can you see my screen and hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me and see my screen so that we're good to go here, and I will get started after that. Morning, cats at home. Can you see me and see my screen and hear me? Thank you, Cena. All right, there we go. Wake up, guys. It's early. We got to get to trading. All right. Well, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. We'll be live streaming our indicator here. If you're not familiar with that, it's called IWJ Pivot Point Pro. It is a trading view indicator. You can only use it in trading view. And it has been doing extremely well in the market. We, over the last 2 years since I've created it, have absolutely killed on day trading and swing trading. And it gives buy and sell signals, and it's price action related. So we try to make it really, really simple. If you watched my first episode of my podcast called The Subconscious Trader, you'll know that the number one problem with trading is emotion. So what we tried to do is we tried to create a tool that gave you good setups so that you don't have to think about it emotionally. And then we use a system where you have good stops and good targets, good risk reward. And essentially the idea is to turn you into a robot while trading, because it's not the system that's going to fail you, and it's not the market that's going to fail you. It's you that's going to fail you. And so this system, this Pivot Point Pro indicator, gives you buys and sells. And what you see on the screen is the yellow is the pre-market trading. Blue over here is post-market. So if we move the screen over, this is the end of the day. Post-market, yellow turns into pre-market. But we don't trade any of that because it's all choppy nonsense overnight. We trade regular trading hours, which is the white area here. And we only trade till 10 a.m. because the first part of the day is when you want to be day trading. And then for swing trading, it's a little bit different because you're trading longer periods of time. So you're obviously not watching the market every second like you are in day trading. So overall, we're up 31,000 this year, I believe, for the first third of the year. And that's based on a $100,000 account. And if you multiplied that over 3, because it's a third of the year, that's $90,000 return on a $100,000 account, over 90,000 actually, which is an insane risk reward return. And that's, all you have to do is follow the rules. And if you follow, and the rules are simple. It's not very. I don't want this to be complicated. Like, oh, if this, then that, then this, then that, then this, then that. It's pretty simple. You enter, you put your stop. You don't trade after 10. You only trade the buys and sells. And then we have trend day rules as well. But really, the only things that you're worried about are getting in on the buys and sells, stopping at 10, setting your stops correctly. So it's a really simple system. You just have to manage yourself. And I say that a lot because that's the number one problem with traders. It's never the system, it's always the trader. Now, before we jump in, let me see here. I got to pull up my Excel. I do want to show the results because I know people always want to see those. And then I'll talk about the discount code. I'm giving a really, really, really big discount because Sunday was Mother's Day and this Saturday is my wife's birthday. So we're right in between two major events for the ladies, or my lady. And so I decided to do a double bonus where you're not only getting a discount on the yearly, but you're, getting both Elliott Wave courses with that for free. So that's a $177 value on top of the 10% off of the yearly indicator. So if you're interested in the yearly, now's the time to get it because you can get the training alongside it that will help you kind of understand the market and do that. The indicator does come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So keep that in mind. If you just want to try it out, you can put it on your chart and watch it for a month and decide if it's for you. Or put it on your chart and paper trade it so that you can just kind of see how it works, how the system works. Okay, so here's our results for the last year and this year. Last year we had a really good run into November. November was a tough month, and so was December, but that's part of trading, and that's where you have to understand that there are no silver bullets. There are no get-rich-quick schemes that work. There are no easy ways to beat the market. You have to be disciplined, you have to stay the course, and you have to find a small edge and apply it relentlessly. That's all this is. You're going to find small edges in the market, and when you do, you apply them relentlessly. Small edges mean that you're going to lose trades and have losing weeks and have a losing month occasionally. So last year on a 100K account, we were up $35,000, so a 35% return on your investment. That's pretty good. This year we're already up, I didn't put April on here. We're already up $31,000. I forgot to update April, but April was another winning month. And April would have been better. There was so much volatility in April that options prices were out of control, so we sized down. Remember, you need to size properly based on your account. And so we moved our sizing down almost 60% because options prices were 7 times higher than they normally were and 5 times higher than they normally were. So our gain was less because we had less contracts. But we still had a winning month. We're about $2,000 of gain that month, which put us at $31,000 for the first third of the year. And this is all chronicled by me and also one of my members who pays to be in my room. He's not one of my employees. He just does it to kind of fact check me. And so this is independently done as well as done by myself to verify the numbers. Morning Rambler, thanks for joining the stream. As far as where we're at today, obviously the market is basically flat to slightly up from yesterday. We are trying to finish either this B wave, where we'd start to look for a C wave down, or this would be a wave, where we would have a B wave pullback and then C up to new all-time highs. This resistance box here, they came up close to it, rejected it, came up into it, rejected, and then push through it. That is a bullish development. We would have expected a bigger pullback out of that box if it was going to be a little more bearish. But this is a bullish development. That doesn't mean that we're going to all-time highs for sure. It means that above this 58.40 level, the bulls are in control of the market. The ball is in their court, and they are able to push above this. So overall, from the top, okay, so back over here's the top. You either have let's try that again. Delete. You either have A, B, and then we would start C down, or you have wave 4, and this is A of 5, B of 5, and then you'd look for C of 5 higher to new all-time highs. Now, what I've been telling my group is that the only thing that really matters from here, unless they go directly to all-time highs, which is certainly possible, it's not an impossible thing to do, I don't think that'll be the case, but unless they go directly to all-time highs, the pullback is going to tell us the story. So we are still well within B-wave parameters. There's nothing about, just because we got above the resistance box doesn't mean they can't go back down. If you look at January of 2022, they retraced almost all the way to the highs on the NASDAQ, like within 30 or 40 points, I believe. and ES as well before turning down like 20-30% after that. So just because we've gotten above this doesn't mean we can't go down, and that's why the next pullback, wherever it occurs from, will be important. And not just a pullback like this. I'm talking about a pullback that's going to need to break 5,600 and 54.85, and then we'll see what kind of structure we get. If it's an ABC that comes down and fills the gap, then I would look for a C wave back up. C wave back up to all-time highs. And if that structure to the downside is a 5-wave structure that takes us back down toward the lows, then I'd look for a bounce and a breakdown. Good morning, Jacob, and all you beautiful souls. So far, I'm loving the indicator, helping tremendously. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. It's helping, guys. Hundreds and hundreds of traders are using it right now, and it's helping them. The ones who are using it properly are beating the market regularly. I built it for that reason. There's a lot of work that went into it. It is price action based instead of backward looking. So a lot of indicators are built on moving average crosses or overbought, oversold things that don't change fast enough. So you're getting a lot of delay in when you get in the market. So you may see the market start to do this, and then the backwards looking indicators finally trigger, and you're already all the way down here. Our indicator is looking for key support, key resistance, volume, and 175 total things, all at the same time. So you can't look at all these things at the same time. And it's looking for all of those. And when enough of them line up to give us a probable winning trade, it gives us a buy or a sell entry. And so ours is price action based. So when it hits a key level, so you see call resistance here and call resistance, these should update at the open because the daily levels move. So this should update. But you can see this is a key level. So if we came down to this, resistance always becomes support. So if they came down to this and gave a bounce that was strong enough and enough factors hit, we would trigger down here somewhere, get a long, and look for that, instead of having to wait for moving averages to cross and things that make it way too long to get into the trade. So it's a forward-looking indicator as opposed to a backward-looking indicator, and based in price action. Again, you do have to have a trading view account, and you need real-time data on the ES and NQ. And the reason you need that, even if you're not trading futures, is what we look for is concurrent movement. So in our settings here, our inputs, you have ES1 and NQ1 as your tickers 1 and 2. And this is when you're trading the SPY, by the way, guys, or ES or NQ. If you're trading any of these three, the SPY, the ES, or the NQ, you need it set up this way. And then you have it set up properly. So it's looking, if you're trading the SPY, it's looking at the ES and the NQ at the same time. It wants all three to be in sync before it issues a buy or sell, because that indicates broad market buying or selling, which indicates usually a better trade. If you want to trade individual stocks with this, you absolutely can. It does very well, especially in swing trading. All you do is simply go to the stock you want to be on. So you change your SPY up here to, say, Apple, and click in these boxes. So you click in this one and change it to Apple. Just type it in and click on it, and it'll change it to Apple. And you got to change both of them to Apple. So you'll want them both to be looking at Apple. So anytime you're doing an individual stock, you simply change it to that stock in here, and you change this to 1, like that. Super simple, and that way you can trade it on any stock. Let's put this back on ES. That's not what I meant. So I use the weekly for swing trading. If you go to the weekly right now, so this is especially powerful for things like your 401k or whatever. It gave you a sell signal all the way back here in December. You had to fade a little bit of a market move higher, and then obviously it dropped off a cliff all the way from 589 down to 482, so over 100-point drop on the SPY with that sell signal there. And this buy signal just came in, and they're up, 16 points from that buy signal from a couple weeks ago. So you see that the swing trading part of this is awesome. It has training videos as well. So you have that training in your back pocket, so you know how to use it and all of those kinds of things. Literally the very first day of trading with the indicator, paid for the monthly subscription as well as TradingView. That's awesome. Could it be that it will first go to an all-time high and then correction? That is a possibility. They can do that. However, there is a ton of resistance in between here and there, and this market has extended quite far off of the last low. So typically, you would look for a pullback, and this is the essence of trading right here. That's a great question. So here's what I'm going to tell you. When you're trading, whether you use my or any other system, you should always have a probabilistic mindset and trade the highest probability outcome. Now, does that mean that that's going to happen every time? No, it's a probability. It means it will probably happen, or it will happen more than it doesn't. So you're always wanting to trade on that side of the tape. What's going to happen more often than not? And most traders want to try to find every single scenario that could possibly play out, and that gets confusing, and it causes stress and hesitation in trading. And so what you want to do is filter out the noise and say, what is the most probable outcome? And with the Elliott Wave courses, you can find those types of things that you get with the yearly. So again, that yearly 10 coupon is coming with both Elliott Wave courses for free. So you get 10% off the yearly indicator plus those two courses. And when you have confusion and hesitation, you don't make trades, or you make bad trades, or you enter trades late, or whatever, ailment you can think of in trading. So you filter out the noise and find the most probable path, and then you have to wait for a setup. So if let's look at an example here. When they came off of this low right here, I was looking for a setup to trade. I told my group we should be long coming up here. They should come down. We'll get long. I was looking for a setup off of a low here, and they never gave one. So we were looking for them to give us something like this, which happens more often than not, and then break out. And if we got here, we would have traded. They didn't give us one, so we did not take a long here. That's just how it goes. Sometimes you miss trades because you didn't get the right setup. And if you don't get the right setup, you don't trade. You don't simply trade because you think. You trade because you have a winning setup that you know works over and over again. That's it. And if you miss a trade, you have to be able to get over that quickly, because it doesn't matter. There's going to be another trade in 2 seconds, right? People are like, that's the last time the market will ever go up 100 points. Yeah, okay. So you have to make sure you have a setup. That's the most important thing about trading. Now, the indicator knows what the setups are, so you don't have to think about that there. That's the beauty of the indicator, is it takes all your thinking away from you and makes it super simple. And does that mean the indicator is going to win every trade or every day? Absolutely not. Every week? No. You saw we had losing months last year. It's part of trading. That's just how it goes. Sometimes you get on a streak that just sucks because the market's doing crazy things. You have to remember the market's an emotional being, and the reason you know that is because it's driven by what? Human beings who are what? Emotional. So the market, therefore, is emotional. It is not, does not make sense. It is not rational. And when people say it can't go higher, it can't go lower, it absolutely can. Because if you think about emotion in the big picture, I always talk about dating with this. Think about the absolutely idiotic and out of control things you did when you were in love or got your heart broken. You did, at one point in your life, I guarantee you did something that you regret because of that. Or you're the luckiest person in the world and never had, your heart broken or something, or never fell in love. But for most people, they've done something that they're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Well, the market is that thing. That's everyone's emotions coming out in money. So it reacts very, very differently or very irrationally to what you would think in a lot of cases. So if you're trying to think of the market rationally, you're going to lose. You have to think of it in setups. And the setups are emotion coming out in different ways that is repeatable because emotion is repeatable. And most of the setups involve a 1-2 type setup where you're trying to trade wave 3s or wave Cs. All right, guys, we have 10 minutes to the open. Any questions on the indicator, the coupons, the counts, anything you want to go over before we jump in, because we're going to be trading pretty soon. And once we get into trading, it gets a little busy. So now is the best time for questions. I appreciate you guys being here and trading with me this morning. People always ask, why do you do this? If it's such a great indicator, why don't you just trade it on your own? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, trading is boring and lonely. So having a group of people that I get to help and coach and see succeed, one, creates a community that I really love, and two, I get to see people do better in their lives and do better in their trading, and that really, really, really makes me happy. And two, there's no disadvantage to me sharing my knowledge. It's not like a patent or something where if I give you the indicator, then my trades no longer work. No, my trades are going to be the same as your trades, and we're all going to do well. So there's no disadvantage to me sharing my knowledge. And it's the same reason that a guy who knows how to fix a car says, you know what, I'm going to be a mechanic and charge money to fix a car because I know how to do it and I can help people, and that's how I can pay my bills. There's nothing wrong with that. People think that just because you're charging money or trying to run a business that you're some kind of scam artist, and that's the opposite. I'm running a business and feeding my family, as well as trading with a community, creating a group of people that I love. I've made friends. I've met people out of my group all over the country. I've traveled all over because of them and seen many, many of my traders. I've had many emails tell me how great their lives are because they've learned how to trade, and all of that is amazing. So that is why I'm here. I don't peddle get rich quick. I don't peddle irrational thoughts or irrational gains. I just give you what we do and hope you like it and hope to help you. And that's it. So if you're not part of the group, it's a great group. We'd love to have you in it. Lots of very talented traders in there that also help out with their thoughts. I missed the start. Do you see much more upside before a pullback in the next wave? Not much, but again, it's certainly possible they can go right to all-time highs. You can rewind the video, though. I went through the paths that I'm looking for. We are close to the next level. 58.75 is the next resistance level. They definitely hit it in the overnight. So that level is the next resistance, and then 59, I believe 63 would be the next major one. 58.70, yeah, 59.63 is the next major resistance level. Good luck. The Tuesday live stream is fun. Hey, glad to hear that. Are you back to your normal stop of 50 cents? Mostly. I've been right around 50 to 60, just kind of depending on the day. Some days have been a little more volatile than others. If prices are over $2, I expand a little bit. If prices are under $2, I tend to stay around that 50-cent zone. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Big G, or BG, sorry. Welcome to the stream. Magic Hand Puppet. Just to confirm, we check out with the yearly 10 for a year of the indicator, and EW course are automatically available for life. That is correct, Magic Hand Puppet. So you'll go to the checkout. Here, how much time do we got? Yeah, we got time. So we'll go to invest with Jacob. You'll go to membership plans. You'll go down to the yearly indicator, which is just about halfway down the page here. You'll see Trading View Indicators. You'll click here to get the indicator, and it'll take you to the next screen. And then on this screen, if you scroll down, you'll put in all your information, and you'll hit Have a Coupon right here, and you'll put in yearly 10 and hit Enter. Make sure you hit Enter, and you'll see a green bar come up. Maybe. There we go. So coupon applied. If you scroll to the top, it will tell you that you got your 531, and then right here, so it tells you got your 1-year term. And then once you do that, I'll send you a coupon code for 100% off of the bundle pack. So you'll get both EW courses. So 30% off if you want to try the first month. Again, 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you want to check it out and you don't like it, no big deal. And then if you want to do the yearly, it's 10% off of the yearly. So you get it for $531. Plus, you get both Elliott Wave courses, which are it's $177 value. So you're going to get the advanced course and the beginner's course, and you can thank my wife for that for Mother's Day and her birthday. All right, guys, we got about 3 minutes here, so I am going to get ready for trading. Need to see where we're at real quick. So it does look like we're going to open in a sell cycle. What that means is we got to sell right here. So we're starting. So we're technically in a buy cycle. Okay, so when you get a sell signal, we're technically in a buy cycle at that time. But what this means is the buy cycle has shown weakness and is trying to, the indicator thinks it's about to fail and reverse because of several things, whether it be a key level resistance or volume or both, or, like I said, it looks at 175 different things. They have different weights on them. So some things are valued more than others. And so we're in a buy cycle right now. And what will happen is if they continue and they run through to the downside, it will complete into a sell cycle. And then once that sell cycle starts to weaken, you'll get a buy signal. So when you get a buy signal down here, you're still technically in a sell cycle, but the indicator has found weakness across the board and wants to look for a buy here and then issues a buy signal to look up. Now, if they continue on the trend, then you're still in the buy cycle. So this fails, goes this way, right? Then the market is still in a buy cycle. You'll get a sell stop, which is an SS, and then you'll look for the next sell signal after that. So this is how you can kind of get ahead of the indicator and know which way we're going to get a signal. If we're moving up, you should be looking for a sell signal. If we're moving down, we should be looking for a buy signal. And on big trend days where they gap down and then kind of continue, people are always like, why didn't we get a sell signal? Well, you did. The problem is it came in the pre-market way back here, and it's not going to reissue sell signals. It's just going to say, hey, we're still selling, so there's no reason to issue anything. So there are definitely days where you're going to miss big moves because you got a big gap up and they just went straight up after that. You're just not going to get a new buy signal in those kind of days because it's chasing the market, and you're not going to do that. We do have trend day rules. A trend day is quickly identified. What do I got? 30 seconds. All right, quick trend day. First, they got to break the pre-market high or low. So you got PML here is pre-market low, pre-market high here. And then come back, test VWAP and the 21, and then break back over that high that they made. That's a trend day up as long as they continue to hold the 21 and VWAP. And we tend to not trade those days because it's going to try to give you sell signals. But because it's a trend day, they will not be able to hold resistance, and the market will continue to move up. All right, here we go. I'd like to see them test the pre-market high area and then reissue and get a stop on this sell and then reissue a sell off of that area. Okay, I do want to refresh the screen real quick, see if we can get our Mentor Q levels updated. Oh yeah, they updated. Okay. Okay, so now we can see that our huge support level is going to be 581. We also have support at 580, and then another huge support level at 577. And to the upside, you have huge resistance at 590 and 588.50 base or 60. So we are in positive gamma, and you know that because you're above the 0 DTE wall, gamma wall, and your next move down, so you got calls below and calls above, which means you're in positive gamma. Normally you'd have calls above and, if we can get down here, put support below. So they got to get all the way back down below 575 to get into negative gamma. If they get below that, then we can start looking at a bearish pattern playing out. But they do have call support here and call support above. So we're in positive gamma right now, which usually means the market's going to grind higher until it finds a way to pull back below positive. This 580 will get us out of positive gamma and put us in a more neutral state, and then below 575 would put us in negative gamma. Now, yesterday was a big day. It was like a 3% move or something. And usually after really big days, you can have another big day, but it's very common to see consolidation. So that's a good thing for day trading. In general, consolidation gives you highs and lows. So then you can get a high up here, trade it back down to here, back up to here, and so on. So that's kind of what we're looking for today. Hi, Hans. Glad to have you. Maxine, good to see you. Yeah, don't forget, guys, there is a lag on the live stream from YouTube. So you guys will always be a little bit late on the signals from me. So if you're in the Discord room, I would look for the trading signals in there because they will come faster than on here because I put them out instantly and, well, as instant as I can. And so they'll appear in Discord before you hear it on here. So make sure you have Discord up and looking at it if you're in the group. All right, they're holding. So they're holding VWAP in the 21 here for now. It's the first bar of the day, but just to give us an idea, we started above it. They tested it. I'd like to see them test the pre-market high, and like I said, stop out this sell and then give us a sell signal and run it down into the pre-market low. Bounce off that, give us a buy, and so on. That would be the ideal type of day, but you don't always get ideal days. That's not how trading works. Hope you guys are enjoying this Tuesday. It's beautiful weather here in Las Vegas. So our pre-market high is 585. That will be a key level to watch as we move forward here. They spiked that on the CPI data here that sort of went red, but mostly sideways. Big nothing burger on CPI. Can I say the time so you get the idea of the lag? Yeah. So it's right now. I'll tell you exactly when it's 6:36. Right now it's 6:36. NQ going for the pre-market high, probably. Yeah, I see that on my other screen. I can see that. NQ. Okay, so we're getting. Hopefully, if this bar closes with a sell stop, we come into the pre-market high area. We can reverse and get a sell signal. That'll be what we're looking for. So if you're trading alongside, we will be looking for a sell signal. Hopefully off that 585 area. That'd be the most likely place to see it. We are at a fairly key resistance zone, that 58.75, but the pre-market high spiked above that a little bit, so I would not be shocked to see him run up and tag that, or at least the area of the pre-market high. You can see the lag if you look at the countdown on the bar timer. There you go. See? All you got to do is look at the bar timer over here, compare it to what time it is where you are, or on your bar timer on your screen. If you're watching your own screen, you can figure out the lag that way. Not necessarily lag, it's YouTube delay. Yeah, they delay the live streams. I think it's just a data feed thing. It's so much data going through that in order to process the video and keep it high def, they put the lag on it. Sam, you're in Germany. Ooh, is it late there? I don't know how the time. I don't know the time difference. What would be the strike if we sell near 585? Just depends. If it's above 585, then probably 586. Or no, if it's above 585, probably 585. If it's below 585, then 584. 15. Okay, 340. So it's afternoon there. SS, if you don't know, is sell stop. So you have this sell from the pre-market. Obviously, we don't trade pre-market stuff. It is stopping out. So you do have stops on the indicator as well. I personally, because I set my own stops and I trade my own stuff, I don't use those necessarily. It's not a good sign to see one, but I have my own stops, but I put those in there for traders who are um, not as well versed on how to create or set stops, so they can use those to stop out. So we do have a sinking ADD as the market is moving higher, and that usually, again, probabilities, guys, that usually means that this is a false high, meaning that it's a weak high, that it'll reverse. That's not always the case, but when you have a falling ADD and the market's moving higher, especially when it's falling, I would say fairly sharply, um, that is a good sign if you're looking for a reversal, which we happen to be. Jacob, can you tell us again what the red and green and the blue dots indicate? The red and green dots should be used for the little dots for the sell stop and the long stop. Um, the the other ones I don't use, so they're crossovers, but they're basically that means squeeze. And so we're building or we're working on trying to identify squeezes where blue would be up and red would be down, but that is not active or working right now the way we want. So we just leave them unchecked. Okay, so they've come into the neighborhood of the pre-market high and pulled back. We'll see if we get a sell signal or not. If you do use the indicator stops, would you stop out at the first flash of the stop or wait till the bar closes? That's up to your risk tolerance, because there are times that this green bar gives you the sell stop and then goes back down, and there are times that this green bar gives you the sell stop and then absolutely crushes all the way up to here. And so if you're waiting for bar close, you get way too killed, so you can't do that. So you need to have your risk tolerance set and say, I'll give it till X or whatever. Again, I use 50-cent stops. I think that is a very, very good way to do it because of the risk reward setups. So that's what I do. All right, we're pulling back off of the pre-market high here. No sell signals yet. Remember one really important thing, really about trading, but about the indicator, is that it's a robot. It's literally a robot or whatever, a program. It has no market bias. It doesn't say, gosh, this is a sell signal, but I don't like it. It just says the conditions are right. The probabilities are right for a trade. That is 100 times better than you, because you will say, oh, it wants to sell, but we're at this zone I don't like. And you won't take the trade, or you'll wait too long and then you miss the trade or whatever. So many times in my room, I say, we have a buy here, but I don't love it. And then that buy goes absolutely bonkers. So many times. The indicator is not only smarter, it has no bias. It doesn't have its own, here's what I think the market's going to do. So anything that goes against that, I'm going to say no to. It just trades what's there. It's a huge, huge advantage to have. Throw all of what you think out the window. You're allowed to have your opinion on the market. I'm not saying that, but when the market changes, your opinion should change too. What is ADD? It's a disorder I have where I can't pay attention to shit. I'm just kidding. It is. I do have ADHD, but ADD is the advanced decline. And if the advanced decline is sinking, it's declining. That means more stocks are below their close from yesterday. Um, so right now you have a positive advanced decline, but it opened at about 1100. That means 1100 stocks were higher. The delta was 1100 stocks are higher than their close from yesterday, positive, but it's all the way down to 830 now, so it's dropped almost 300. So almost 300 stocks have gone below their close from yesterday. Thanks, Jacob, for all you do. My day trading has never been this consistent since I got the indicator. Thank you, JR. That's awesome to hear. These are the reasons that I do this, to hear these comments, to hear people say these types of things, because I want them to improve, get better, make money, and improve their lives. It's awesome. Thank you, JR. That makes my day. Slow, choppy start. Not choppy, but slow start. We're building into a sell signal right now. So remember, you're not going to get a buy cycle because you're in a buy. They've tried to sell out of the buy. They've been unable to do that so far. Remember, pre-market's choppy crap. Don't worry about the pre-market stuff. Just ignore that. But don't ignore the fact that we're in a buy cycle still. And if they just continue to keep going up, we're not going to get a buy cycle or buy signal because it's still viewed as being in a buy cycle. When it weakens, you get a sell signal that says, hey, the buy cycle is weakening. We think it might go down. For instance, here, we think it might go down. Oh, it was weak. It went sideways, but it didn't go down and then continued back up, which means the sell stops and we stay in the buy cycle. So keep those things in mind when you're like, why didn't we get a buy when the market went straight up? Well, because the buy came way, way earlier and none of the sells could run a complete cycle. Where do you get ADD? I Thinkorswim. So I use Thinkorswim and E-Trade to trade with. And Thinkorswim is mostly for, I have a small account in Thinkorswim just to, I do experiments in there. That's where I try different strategies and try indicator stuff where I'm tweaking the indicator. I just do really small one contract trades and stuff. But I use Thinkorswim for its charts, I guess is the right word. It's indicating charts. The advanced decline is continuing to fall. It's down to 757 now, down another 60, 70 stocks. So, again, I would expect this pre-market high to hold in most cases. However, things change. So, again, we play probabilities. We look for probabilities. The probability here is that the pre-market high area will hold and we'll get some kind of pullback here. Gold is in a sell. Yeah, we sold our gold I think last week or the week before, up near the highs. We sold a bunch of it. I'm down to only having a little bit of money in gold now. I have a lot of money in cash because I'm waiting for the next opportunity. But we made 60% in our 401k over the last year on gold, or precious metals, I should say. But, 1 year 60% gain on your 401k doesn't hurt. There's a song by AWOL Nation named Blame It on My ADD. Interesting. Do you feel ES and NQ are not trading in sync due to XLV pulling down ES? I mean, in sync on what level? I think on the 5-minute bars, they're pretty in sync. Do you buy gold again when price is lower? It's going to depend on the pullback. I'm looking, so on GLD, I'm looking at 270 as a really, really attractive area to buy, assuming you get a setup there and they hold, and what kind of pullback we get. So I am interested in buying back some gold. I don't want to be over leveraged in gold because of the run it's had could very well be the top on gold. And it also had a pretty strong island reversal. So let me go. I haven't looked at gold this morning. Let's see where it's at. It's down 20 cents. It's not, too bad today, but it was down big yesterday. All right, push in here. Let's see if they can get to the pre-market high up here at around 585. I guess it's 585 exactly. Tuesdays have been very, very hit or miss. Last Tuesday was amazing. I think we were 4-0 with a really big trade in there. And, the Tuesdays before were like choppy or break even or trend days. Trend days are boring. Hopefully we don't get a trend day here. But again, the ADD continues to sag. It's down to 650 now. So it's down almost 200 more stocks just in the last 10 minutes. It's gone from 1,100 to 600. It's been cut in half. So there are stocks that are definitely going red here. And again, that tends to tell you that the market wants to pull back. Now, it also depends on which stock. So let's look at the Mag 7 over here real quick while we wait. NVIDIA's very solidly green. Meta is solidly green. Microsoft's flat. Netflix is solidly green. Amazon is solidly green. Tesla is green. Apple is red. Google is red. So if the Mag 7 are all green, which most of them are, then the ADD is less important, but still important. The Mag 7 control a lot of the volume and movement in the market. So if breadth is bad, but the Mag 7 is good, the market can hold and still push. SPY is up around 0.31 and QQQ is up set 0.7. Yeah, you want the Qs to lead, but they're both going in the same direction, and that's more what matters. You want the Qs to be leading if you're a bull. They were deeper in trouble than ES was. So, okay, we've gotten to the pre-market high now. We are rejecting. We'll see how it goes from here. See if we can get a sell signal. My pre-market high stick is up at 587.40. Interesting. There must have been. Sometimes they have wicks, phantom wicks that spike. I don't have that on mine, so I'm not sure. Let me go back and look at the post. Well, no, I don't have it. I'm not sure. NASDAQ has, in fact, broken above its pre-market high. We'll see if it can sustain that. So remember, guys, when you get reversals off of key levels, there are 3 ways that it happens. Hits it exactly and turns down, spikes above it and turns down, or comes up short of it and turns down. And the reason for all 3 of those is liquidity. The ADD is now down to 540, so it's continuing to drop like a rock. Um, Microsoft has turned red now. The transports have turned red now. So we're starting to see some weakness in some different areas. The Dow has turned red. So I do think we could see a pullback, if not drop, from here. But or they could just crush it through. With NASDAQ being above its pre-market high, that does lend itself to a potential trend day up. It's up almost 1% now. They have squeezed through the pre-market high now on SPY. The buying in the Vold is also relatively tame. So just interesting to see that they're continuing to push this market into some weakening factors. So now we have pushed above the pre-market high. Whenever they stop pushing, they should give us one of these, assuming that pulls back and holds above, anywhere above the VWAP and 21 down here, and then comes back and takes out the high, so whatever high they make, that would be a very strong indication of a trend day higher, and we would not be trading the sells unless it comes off of a key level. But the next key level higher is all the way up at like 589, almost 589. So very possible we could trend, and that is the effect of positive gamma. So we'll see how it goes from, again, this area we're in right now. There are still weakening signs. In fact, the Vold just turned red for this 15-minute bar. So the buying, even though the price is pushing higher, the underlying stuff isn't supporting it. So due to liquidity, it cannot continue to rise. Not always. So when I say, so you're going to have strong support and resistance, or strong resistance, at this pre-market high. So when there is enough people there still looking to buy, there's enough liquidity, oftentimes they will come up short or hit the target right on the nose and just turn it straight down because the buyers are buying heavily here. And so what they want to do is sell into them hard, trap all those guys, pull it back, have those guys stop out, and then come back up, because those guys then turn into sellers. They can buy from them to drive price higher. On the flip side of that, if there are not enough buyers here, they push it through, create a bullish look. Then you get all the FOMO people and all the breakout people buyers in, and they get them buying, so then they can sell into them hard, and then push it down below here, stop them out, turn them into sellers, push it down harder again, and then when they get to their level, take it back up. So it's a liquidity on both ways, just depending on how that works. So if there's enough people trying to buy into that zone, the sellers overwhelm them and take it down. If there's not enough buyers because everybody's trying to sell that zone, the big guys push it through, stop out all the sellers who then turn into buyers because they think it's a breakout, and then reverse it. I don't know if we have any news at 7 today. We'll see, I guess. See if we get a catalyst. Usually at 10, well, 7, 10 o'clock Eastern, there's an announcement of some kind, some book or something. Housing starts, whatever. I don't know if there's anything today, but a lot of times that's the case. Remember, boredom is a good thing. Embrace it. If you're too bored and you feel like you just want to get long right now, go for a walk. Do some exercise. Anything. Don't trade. Can you make money here if it, chasing? Of course, you can make money anywhere, but remember, bad setups that win or bad trades that win are still bad trades. In fact, they're bad trades because you went against the probabilities and now you have reinforced a terrible behavior in your brain to say, "Oh no, see, that worked. I can do that again." Over time, that's going to crush you. You may get one or two, you may get 3 in a row, 4 in a row. That's how trading works. But over time, that's going to reinforce in your head that it's great. You're going to get killed, and you're going to wonder what the hell happened or why the market's rigged or whatever. If you're bored, like I said, read a book, go exercise, do something, watch TV, come back later. Don't trade. If you're mad, don't trade. If you're mad that the market's moving up and you're not long, get over it. It's going to move up again. It's going to move down again. There's going to be other trades. But we are in an uptrend since before the market opened. And until that uptrend stops, you are chasing the end of a move, which is when you get trapped, which is when you get killed. Made a long trade about a month ago. Nice job. We had several long and short winners through there. On our swings. So we have the makings of a trend day working now. They've closed one bar above the pre-market high. It looks like this bar is going to close above the pre-market high. Now again, the confirmation is the small pullback and possibly even into the VWAP 21 or area. They need to hold that area, then push back up over the high, and if that's the case, that confirms a trend day, which makes it kind of a boring trading day overall because we won't take many trades. So we'll see if they can give us a pullback here again. The underlying doesn't necessarily support a trend day, but the Mag 7 kind of does, and the Mag 7 can overwhelm the market. Guys, don't forget we do have coupons, and they do they go away after the live stream's over, so they're only valid while we're doing this live stream. The yearly 10, I hardly ever give a discount, and today, because Mother's Day was Sunday and my wife's birthday is Saturday, you're getting a double bonus, so you get 10% off of the indicator, which again is rare, and also you're getting both EW courses for free. So take advantage of that if you don't have it. You won't see that offer um, again for a while, if ever. 30% off the first month if you want to try that. Again, 30-day money back guarantee. So if you want to try it, you can put it on your chart, just watch it. You can put it on your chart and use it, paper trade it, whatever you want to do. But if you don't like it, let me know and cancel in the 30 days. We'll get you your money back. The reason it's a 30-day guarantee, guys, is you need to do it for more than a day, because losing days happen. They happen often. Often's they just happen. I mean, you could have 2 or 3 losing days in a row. That's just part of trading. I want you to see it at least over a month, because more often than not, way more often than not, we make money in the course of a month if you follow the rules. And I want you to see it for the course of a month and try it for a course. Don't try it for 3 days and then those days didn't work out and be like, this doesn't work. You got to understand that if you got in at a 3-day losing streak, that's where it is. We've had many 3-day losing streaks followed by 10-day winning streaks, 15-day winning streaks, things like that. So it's all about patience, sizing, discipline. It's all about you. If you haven't seen the Subconscious Trader episode 1, go check it out. Talks about these things exactly and how you destroy your accounts and how you sabotage yourself. It's not the market or the system you're using in most cases. It's you. I'm curious on ES. Some of you guys said you had a wick up to 587.40. That's a phantom wick, I'm guessing. You get those from time to time. And market price will eventually usually go get that. And what that usually is a huge buy came in and the price spiked up really fast and then came back down. And a lot of times those wicks never come through, or they don't do them that big because of whatever reason. But that's usually a dark pool coming through. So maybe they are headed to that 587.40 area. Does your guys' QQQ chart have a similar big spike on it to a price that's outside of the zone? Not a day trader, but looking for a community to trading since I still work full time. Is there a code for joining Invest with Jacob? Not right now. The rooms are doing well, so I don't have a code for those. I'm on the monthly. Can I upgrade to the yearly and take advantage of that deal? You can. You absolutely can. Just shoot me a separate email, Daniel, and say I had the monthly, and I'll cancel that and refund you on a prorated basis so that you're not double paying for anything. Q's did not have a phantom spike. Okay, just curious. ADD is finding a little support. It's back up to 625. Still down on the day, though, almost half. About 40%. Andy, you do get a 7-day free trial though for the rooms, so you can get in there and check it out at least for 7 days. See if you like it. Although we have a very solid move up on NASDAQ and a good move up on ES, we have not confirmed a trend day yet. Um, it is looking like that could be the case, but we will take the first sell signal because there's always the chance that they are going to make this high and then be done and turn down. But if they turn down, come back to the 21, hold, and then go back higher, then we will step aside because we don't want to trade into the trend. We want to trade with the trend. And even so, that that's an interesting statement. The indicator is a counter trend trader, right? It's looking for tops and bottoms, and then it's looking for all the calculations to hit to give us a high probability move. So it is, in essence, counter trend. However, counter trend within the scope of ranges and or on trend. So if we got a buy signal, obviously that would be great because that's on trend and we'll take the sell signal. But if we're in the range, so we're looking for the market, which more days than not, the market's going to stay in the range, right? Like this. So we're always looking for these key areas to trade off of. And we're always looking, the indicator is always looking for that. Once you get outside of the range, the pre-market high in this case, then it becomes more likely that those zones aren't going to hold. So we don't want to trade against the trend in that sense. So we come up to the pre-market high. We haven't established a trend. We just came to the top of the range. Once we break over the pre-market high, now we've established a trend, and we don't want to necessarily be trading against that very often. We want to trade with the trend when that happens, if possible. Now, for day trading, you're not going to get with the trend unless you got a buy signal down here, which we get a lot of. That's happened quite often. It just, the setup wasn't there for it today. And again, you trade setups, you don't chase. If we miss a trade, there'll be one tomorrow. Or maybe in 10 minutes. Who knows? This is why you don't try to time the market, um, because that's what it's looking for, is people to squeeze. So you're up here going, oh, I'm going to sell here, and that just creates more liquidity or more power for them to drive up. So we don't time the market. Again, we look for setups, we look for reversals, we look for things like that. We wait for it to show us a sign, and then we try to get in. We don't just say, okay, we're going to guess that this is the top. One way price action, not a day trader's paradise. There's nothing there. If you get the yearly indicator, do you have access to the Discord room too? No, those are separate things. The indicator is a standalone product, and one of the reasons I built the indicator is because I don't want to sit here and watch the market forever. I'll trade on days that I want to trade, so I will at some point step aside, and the rooms will no longer they'll exist, but they'll just be a free room. You can just sign up and get in for free, but I won't be in them very often. And the indicator was built so that you can still get all the trades we would make without me having to be there. So that's why it's a standalone product. Nice move from the Bulls here. How many candles we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles. One red. That's a pretty solid move, and some big green ones. Nice job, Bulls. NQ could hit 6,000 today. I think you mean ES. It could. It's another 90 points. That's certainly within reason. They are coming into a major area, though. The next major area is up here, this yellow line, this 1 day max. That is at 588.64, so they're about a buck below it. They got up to 587.90. So this 1 day max between 588.65 and 590, I would assume the run will be done for today. Up. That doesn't mean they're going to go down, but I think this, they could do this for the rest of the day, or they could pull back and then work their way into this at the end of the day. But I think that this zone right here will contain this move. There's a lot of resistance in that area. I don't know if the 5 minute will go back far enough. Let's see. No. Well, I can see the dotted line. So if we come back over to where the maybe maybe how far back was it? Oh, there we go. Finally. So as they come up here, there's a lot of resistance right in this area. There's this peak, there's this valley, there's this valley, there's this gap that they filled, and this peak here. So there's a lot of resistance that they're coming into up in that 588 area. So I would not be expecting them to blow through that today. Again, they don't have to pull back or drop off of that area, but I doubt they're going to push directly through it. Let's get back over here because we may be getting a sell signal, and I don't want to miss that. Oh my God, so far. I'm liking this reversal look. Let's see if we get one here. All right, we're trying to get a turn down here. Let's see if we can get any kind of follow through. They do need to probably check in with VWAP in the 21 here pretty soon. They're getting pretty far away. They're almost 3 points, 2 points, 2.5 points away, roughly. They will never get too far away from these two lines. Um, they can still extend a little further, but if you go back and look, anytime they do extend away from them, they get, well, we'll go look at that later, but they come back and tag them. RTY being kind of flat and the Dow being red are interesting to me overall. You're not seeing broad market buying. The transports are basically flat. Banks are doing well. So this is about the Mag 7. Breadth improved a little bit, but now is turning down again. So the ADD is that. So one of two things happens, by the way, if you didn't know, when we are going to go back and test the 21 in VWAP. They do that two different ways. Actually, since we got time, does anybody know the two ways how the second way? So obviously they can just come back and touch it. That's one way. What's another way they're going to test VWAP in the 21? Sit here till it catches up. Perfect, Sean. Nailed it. So the obvious way is just right down into it. The other way is consolidate, let it come up to price, and then move away again. And on strong moves, that's what you get. So on strong moves, you're going to get consolidation and continuation. On weaker moves, they're going to come down and tag it. So this is why sometimes you'll get a sell signal here. and it senses weakness in the market, and it's not wrong. It's weakness in time, though, right? And so you don't make any money on the trade, but the market was in fact weak, and then it continues. So there are two ways that the market corrects: in time and in price, and sometimes both. There's some serious pumping going on. News conference, Trump. Is he having a news conference right now? That makes sense. Let's see. Trump news conference. Well, it looks like it's a health news conference. I don't know. Doesn't seem like. Well, I'm sure he'll talk about tariffs in it, though. He can't help it. It could be a good timing catalyst when that press conference ends for the market to turn down, but um, you know, right now we have to treat it as a trend day until proven otherwise, because they are above the pre-market high and have shown no signs of um, not trending up. They are starting to slow down and go sideways a little here, and then that'll kind of be the what decides if we're gonna continue or pull back a little bit or drop. They could drop as well. Slow meandering days that favors the bulls for sure. Europe's in the red. Oh, there you go. In Asia, it looks like is that I don't know what that is. Z. I think is that supposed to be Asia. Not sure. Ugh. 5 o'clock comes early. Yeah, it comes at the same time every day, but it seems early. Okay, we just got a sell flash. So we are in at 586 for $1.12. Our stop is going to be 587.30. We'll see if they can put together any kind of movement to the downside. Uh, Again, the indicator is smarter than me, but I am a little skeptical based on price action that they can fall here. I think it'll be more of a sideways move, but we shall see. Well, so far we've held on by the skin of our teeth. We'll see if they can hold that line here. 587.26 was the high. We have 587.30 as our stop. So by 4 cents we held so far. Now we need to get them to turn this red and take it down. So if you're new and you haven't seen the indicator before, as soon as the sell flashes, we take the trade. Same thing with a buy. As soon as a buy flashes, we take the trade. This allows us to try to get the best entry. If you wait till bar close, you can miss the whole trade. There are very many times that we get a sell signal here and the bar goes just like this, and we take a win on the trade, and then the next bar goes like this, and you missed the trade if you waited for the close. So we always take the signal as soon as we see it. That allows for hopefully best entry if the market's going to continue in our favor. So if we get in right here when it says sell and it continues on, that gives us the best possible entry. If that sell signal goes away, then so be it. We get stopped out and that trade, if we get stopped out, that trade goes away, and that's life. That's part of trading. It's not certainly not a big deal, and all of those trades are chronicled and factored into the results that we always show. So keep those things in mind when you're trading. If they could close this bar red, that'd be great. They tried. Looks like it's going to close green doji-ish. Okay. Like I say all the time, the indicator is smarter than me. However, I am a little skeptical of this one just because of the move up. These tend to be sideways action weaknesses. So the sell came in because it sees weakness here, wants it to consolidate and or go down. And this one appears to be consolidation. But again, the indicator is smarter than me, and I've said this many times and then had 100% winning trades. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes here, if the Bears can find any life or not. First significant tick reads of the day. Well, there you go. Hopefully they were read. Well, this is like betting on a 1 mile snail race. Can we get out of this 30-cent zone? The indicator did give a sell stop at the beginning of the day that we could have taken as a buy. No. So no. I mean, yeah, I guess you could. You can do whatever you want. Let's say that. But that strategy is the trend day strategy, and you have to establish the trend first. So, for instance, had this sell stuck right here that we just got, this sell right here, and they did this, and then we got a sell stop going up here, that would be one you could take as a buy. I personally don't trade that strategy. I try to make that as clear as possible, but we do have people that do and find it successful. But you want to establish a trend before you do that. This sell stop, you would not necessarily have taken as a buy because they can just you haven't gotten past the pre-market high yet to establish that a trend has been made. Can you give us a sell signal for 100 S&P points, please? If I could do that, I would be very, 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 very rich. I'd put it all on. I think somebody accidentally unplugged the market. There we go. Okay, so a sell signal's coming back in. We never got stopped out of the other sell that flashed over here, so we're still in the sell that just came up. Finally starting to get a little bit of movement here. As I look at the day trades, or the day trade, I should say, it's $1.12, so that's 22 cents. That's $1.35, basically, is what we'll call that. So we're looking for $1.35 for our first exit. So if you're new to this, we're trading options. The option cost was $1.12. We take our first half off at a 20% gain. And the reason we do that is essentially what happens is you have your even line, right? You have your stop out up here on a short, and then you have your first take down here on the long on the short. So this is your stop line, this is your first take line, and these two essentially cancel each other. And then what we're looking for is we're looking for the market to move down and then through this. So now we took profit here to cancel out any stops from before, and then all of this becomes pure profit essentially. So that's how the model works, and it works really, really, really well. Again, we're on pace for almost $90,000 this year on a 100K account. Now, will we hold that pace? To be determined. Probably not. We did have a record month in there. March, I believe, was just absolutely off the charts. But we should finish in the 50, 60,000 range, I would say, which 60% on your money is pretty dang good. You're not going to get that in a CD unless you keep it in there for 12 years. All right, let's see if we can get back and touch the 21 here. That would be our first target to the downside. They got to get past this break up bar right here. So this first zone, 586.18, will be first support. If they can get below that, they should come on down into the 21, and then we'll see what happens there. Okay, the ADD is making a new low. That's a positive. The negative is that this selling right now, it's early, is very controlled. So it does not look like yet that they want to really waterfall this thing. So I would say the 21 and VWAP is probably the destination if they can get there. But if they break those, that's when the acceleration can happen. So a little bit early to tell exactly, but I would not call this strong selling yet. All right. Here will be the key. Can the bears follow through here? Or is this just a one bar wonder? Are you staying on this call until we close one half of the trade? If we close one half of the trade, yeah, I'll be on here for a minute. I'm going to give them a chance to give us a couple of trades and see how it does. Obviously, this is one of those trades. Trend days are not great trading days. So if they do continue on here to the upside in a trend, not a great time to trade. But we'll be on here for a minute and see what we get. Yeah, see, these are the concern on these types of days. They come back so that eventually this is going to come up and look like it's close to the 21 in VWAP. This is a one bar wonder. We'll see if they're able to reject here and push down, but you would want to see more follow through here. So right now, selling very, very controlled. RTY turning red would be a positive. Microsoft has turned solid, well, not solidly red, but red. The banks have come down. Dow Jones is still about flat. The Dow itself is red. Dow Jones transports are flat. So it's not, it doesn't have, and the ADD's going down. I mean, it doesn't have the makings of a solid trend day. Doesn't mean they can't grind higher, but it certainly doesn't have all of the characteristics that you would look for in a trend day. I think right now this is a Mag 7 driven day. And if they can weaken a little bit, that would be beneficial to the bears. They don't need to go red, but weakening the Mag 7 would move the market down decently. Really would like to see this bar close in the bottom third or red. So the bottom third of this candle or red would be good. They came right down to this support level I mentioned and bounced. So if they can come back down and put pressure on it, they should be able to push through and down into the VWAP area, which would be great. That should get us a payment. You have to buy at the money to get good price movement on the option. Yeah, I mean, the delta is going to get way worse the further away you get from the money, especially on a 0 DTE. You can do it, but it's not ideal because typically delta's around 50 to 60 cents on an at the money option. And if you get out of the money, it starts getting around 30 cents, which means, for every dollar it moves, you get 30 cents of price on your option. And that is hard to hit your 20% on because price has to move so far. Whereas, if you get a 50-cent move and you're at the money, or 60-cent move, a lot of times that can get you your 20%. But when you're out of the money, you need more like a dollar plus move, and that's really hard for your first take. I mean, it's not hard to get a dollar movement, but you don't want to have to get a dollar to just get your first take. Certainly not ideal after this move down to have these two green bars all the way back up to the top of this breakdown bar. They finally got some movement here, and the bulls bought it right back up, so that's not an ideal situation. Guys, if you're uncomfortable with options or you haven't traded them before, I do have a module on my website for options, and it does include the Greeks and how they work, so that you can understand why buying out of the money it gets you worse price movement. And you can buy just that module. It's $67 if you want to do that. It's a 2-hour course that I taught live, that can help you out with options basics, understanding how we use them, how squeezes work, how gamma works, all that kind of stuff. All right. We got stopped out there at 82. They took their sweet time on that one. So that was not our best effort. They failed the down move from over here. Got close, man. We were close. 8 cents would have been a winning trade, but such is life. We'll go on to the next one. We'll see if we get another sell here, or if they just spiked it up to stop everybody out and now they're going to rip it back down. That would be super annoying. All right, guys, because we have the making of a trend day, they have come back into the 21 area. By the time this comes up, it'll be closer. If they do move back over this high, we'll look for one around 588.50. That is the 1-day max zone where I would expect heavy resistance. We may take one more trade here. I'll stay on and see if we get that. Do keep in mind these discount codes go away about 20 minutes after the live stream. So if you are interested in testing the indicator, you get a 30-day money back guarantee, 30% off the monthly. Or if you want the yearly, guys, this is the deal. 10% off, which you never get. And then on top of that, I'm giving you both Elliott Wave courses free. That's $177 to buy those outright. So great deal today. You can thank my wife for that. I asked her what she wanted to do, and she said I should discount the yearly. And I said, well, I've already done that. And she said, then give them the courses. So that was her idea. Since it's her birthday and Mother's Day, I let her pick the deal. So right now, just to give everybody an idea and recap, what I'm looking for, obviously they got to get a sell stop first because we're not going to get a sell signal if they don't stop out this active sell. So I would like to see them go ahead and push into this 588.50 area and give us a rejection off of that, and then we try to trade that because that's a key level. But we do have a trend day being established, so we don't want to overtrade these kind of days and try to pick a top or guess a top because they tend to not hold. As the market is pushing through resistance. Does indicator work on minutes time frame? Yeah, we're on the 5 minute right now. Or are you talking about 1 minute? If you're talking about 1 minute, that is a useless trading zone. I highly encourage all traders to avoid it. So mainly the best use for the indicator, 5 minutes or daily for swing. I actually use weekly for swing, but you can use daily. I don't think there's any issue with that. I just think the weekly personally is more accurate. But yeah, 5 minutes for day trading and weekly or daily, I suppose, for swing trading. Real quick, it's going to take a minute for us to get a trade, so I'm going to go over to Microsoft. And remember, when we go to a stock, an individual stock, we have to change the inputs. So I need to change this to Microsoft, and I need to change this to Microsoft, and I need to put it on 1. We will hit OK. We want to go to the weekly, which look at that sell on Microsoft. That was perfect. Right there, you got in at whenever that sell signal came up at 449, 2-point drop. That's pretty good. But that's not why I went there. I want to go to the weekly. So, Microsoft, if we look here, keep going. Got a weekly buy right here at 392.09. Microsoft is currently at 448. That's 56 points. That's a 15% move up in 3 weeks. I mean, that's a monster. 3 weeks, 15%. You absolutely get to crush it. Now, if you look at the last Microsoft, you had this sell right here that came in at 415. They took it all the way down to 345. So that was 55 and 15 is 70 points on a, where'd you get in at? 450, 70 points on that. It's another big 15% move. So you got 15 down, 15 up over the last, few months in Microsoft. That's incredible. Before that, you had this buy signal that went really well. This sell signal was probably a winner, and then you got stopped out. So you had a first take winner stop, and then this one you just rode all the way down. This buy, obviously, you got stopped out on. But, I mean, you're going to have winning and losing trades, but these are the trades you're looking for. 2 15%ers back-to-back. If you had options on that, I mean, that's huge. Huge. All right, let's get back to the 5 minute here and back over to the SPY. So it's not just about sitting in front of your computer day trading, guys. All you got to do is come in every Friday, check the weekly on your charts or check the weekly indicator on the charts, and then you'll know, come in at the close, check the weekly indicator, and you'll know what to do for the next week or next month, few months on a stock if it has a buy or sell signal. So it's really powerful in swing trading, very powerful. Again, guys, the yearly coupon and the monthly coupon expire or will go away after the call today. So once this live stream is over, that will no longer be a coupon. So make sure if you want to get that, you take advantage of it before we're done. Now I do give everybody about 20 to 30 minutes after the call because I have to get everybody set up that's already purchased. And that takes a little bit of time. So you have a little bit of time after the call, and then that'll be gone, and you won't be able to do it anymore. Yeah, Lexi, the last 2 or 3, I hope I said that right. The last 2 or 3 weeks have been kind of flat. Honestly, they haven't been great day trading weeks. And I mean, that's just the market. The market's going to go through periods of trend days where you're not trading, or slow days where you're not trading, or just where you're just not getting great trades. And that's just part of it. You're going to go through some ups and downs, but as long as you follow the plan, use good sizing so you don't go bankrupt, guys. That's the biggest thing is protecting your capital and building it. You don't want to have all your capital in on a trade because you are literally your whole savings is linked to that day, minute, second on the market. And if a news thing comes out and the market moves 20 points against you, you just lost all your capital. And that can happen a lot. Or any kind of catalyst. When an unexpected catalysts happen all the time, and they move the market very quickly. So, like if you had a short Friday because the market looked like it could set up to go down, and you had all your capital in that trade, and the market's up 3% at the open on Monday, well, you're in a bad shape. So make sure you follow the rules and protect your capital and understand that there's going to be ups and downs. I tell people all the time we trade probabilities, but probabilities 6 out of 10 doesn't mean that you're going to win 6 and lose 4 every 10 trades. If you flip a coin, it's not going to be heads, then tails, then heads, then tails. It could be heads 25 times in a row and then tails 25 times in a row. So you just got to understand that there's going to be winning and losing streaks because all the indicator is doing is taking high probability trades and putting them in front of you. And then if they don't play out, then that's kind of the math of the situation. The law of big numbers, it will even out and it will play out over time. So you have to give yourself the time for the edge to take effect. Can it take effect in the first month? Of course, it happens a lot. We win most months. Can it take 2 months for it to take effect or 3? Yeah. Can it take 20 trades? Yes. So you just got to be patient. You got to use good sizing. You got to use good discipline, and then use the edge, which is the indicator, over and over and over again. I see people all the time. March was a record month, and April was a winning month, but we had a small losing streak there in April. Before, over the month though we won. And anytime we have a small losing streak, I see cancellations, and I'm like, then you're not seeing the big picture. You're expecting every trade to be a winner. You're going to be a losing trader in your life. That's just the way it goes. People really want to focus on the profit and loss of a single trade, and it is the most irrelevant thing you could focus on in trading ever. A single trade is so useless to care about that you should never lose sleep over any single trade. Now, if you have all your market diversified, all your money in the market diversified over 20 stocks or something because you're a long-term buy and hold person, and the market's shit in the bed, yeah, you could have a little bit of worry there. But for a single day trade, that should be like putting $5 on blackjack. Oh, darn it, you got blackjack? Okay, I'll put 5 more out because I have $100 or I have $1,000 to bet with. You know what I mean? You can't worry about the $5 you put out and lost because you're going to play again, and you have a significant edge if you do it right. In all honesty, after the first move up, there's been nothing to trade. Um, if you were able to get long right at the open, we weren't because the market was already long. That was the only place to catch a trade today. The last from 7:10 to last hour has been nothing in either direction. It's been awful. Does the 21 EMA crossing above the VWAP mean anything? Yeah. So you want, if you're bullish and the market's moving up, you want the 21 above, and vice versa. You want the 21 below on bearish. Daniel, are you still on the live? Hopefully, we can get up here and get a sell stop. They haven't been able to stop out this active sell right here. So, uh, hopefully, we get a sell stop so that we can come up into this zone up here and try to get a reversal. Try to get one more trade in here. We only trade till 10 a.m. regardless. We had one small loser today. You know, okay, I saw your email and I replied to it, but Daniel, I just figured I could tell you here because it's easier than having a back and forth. Just go sign up for the yearly and use the coupon code, and then once you do, I'll see it come through, and I will, like I said, I'll prorate refund your um, monthly, and then I'll give you the coupon code for the EW courses. If anybody else, Daniel asked earlier, can I upgrade my monthly to the yearly and take advantage of the deal? The answer is yes. So if you have the monthly and you want 10% off the yearly, you can do that, and get the EW courses. Or if you don't have it at all, you can get it obviously. And don't forget, guys, those codes do expire after the live. Unfortunately, the live has been anything but live. It's been dead. Not a whole lot going on in the market for trading today. Now, the bulls will want to start pushing here at some point because um, if they don't, they're going to get squeezed to the downside. So the bears are in a position here that if the bulls can't push out of here, we could see a pretty sharp drop, especially if they can break below this. So now this level has become the 21. You can see that they came down, and support now is basically at the 21. So that is a important level to watch now moving forward. 586.10 roughly. It coincides with where the 21 basically is, and the last drop came down to. So here's a psychology lesson since we're bored. So what happens is the market comes up here, lots of sellers in this area, at least enough to hold the market, right, to stop the move up. So the buyers start to get weaker, and then the sellers step in. Now, typically, if this is going to be a continuation, you'll see a small pullback and then continuation. However, if they pull back and then the bulls start to come up and they can't get through, well, psychology starts to take effect, and the bulls start to say, I'm not liking how this looks. So you get some bulls that say, okay, I'm going to have to withdraw my position or close my position. And then some sellers start to say, I'm liking how this looks. So they start to add to their position. And what happens is instead of consolidating and breaking out, you consolidate, and the bears start to overwhelm. And as soon as they start to overwhelm, all the bulls who were still trying to push flip, and then you get a squeeze to the downside. So you stop out the bulls, right? That's the first. When you stop out a bull, that is selling the market, so that pushes price down because you bought the market. Now to close your position, you have to sell the market. So anytime you close out the bulls, that's a sell in the market. So that's one sell. Then those guys who were bulls say, I think this is going to go down. So they flip to short, which is selling the market again. So when you stop out big traders like that, very often you get what's called a double buy or a double sell, where they sell their position to close it, and then they sell a position or buy puts to open it. So it creates the squeeze effect where everybody's flipping, and then all of these people down here are the wall, and if they can't hold, then they flip, and then you get the big time squeezes, both up and down. So there's psychology. That's how that works. And this is what's called a negative feedback loop, where the buyers are getting negative feedback here. They're trying to buy, and the feedback is negative, and that loop continues until their resolve breaks, and they say, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to be a part of being long here. But until or unless this low breaks, you do have a pretty solid bull flag. Did you cover PLTR recently on a call? I have call with 160 strike on July 18 purchased 87 range. So I can't give advice on trades I don't make. That's the first thing on that. And then also the daily calls where I cover that stuff. So people have asked for it over the last couple of weeks. I don't know exactly what day, but yeah, I've covered PLTR. But we can go over it today on the call if you want to ask. That would be something I would ask on the call then. The midday call. All right, guys. In a general sense, the bears look very weak today. Obviously, you had the direct move higher. They couldn't even get back to the 21 on the pullback, and now the bulls have pushed back away from it. That doesn't mean the bears can't pull back and hit the 21 or even take it down. It means that this is not what you look for when you look for the bears to be strong. So probability says this is going to be a trend day, or at least a sideways day for the rest of the day that's kind of choppy. If, again, they get up into the 588 area or up into a major resistance zone and we get a sell, I may take that. I generally have a 3 strikes and you're out rule, or if a trend day looks pretty trendy, there's no reason to really trade against it unless you're at a key level. So does that mean I can miss a reversal? Yeah, it does, but it also means that I won't be wrong the other 45 times it didn't reverse. So I'm going to give it about 2-3 more bars here to see if they can spike up and get a sell stop. If they can, then we'll wait for see if they can get a sell signal off a key level, but otherwise we'll be shutting it down after that. Hopefully we can get one more trade in, but remember the coupon codes do expire about 20 to 30 minutes after the call ends. So if you want to take advantage of those, do so. Just a slow day, just nothing to trade today. Again, the buy had already started. If you look at the pre-market action from all the way back at 2 o'clock at this low, they were in an uptrend, and you're just not going to get buys in those cases if the sells never work. So this sell didn't work, this sell didn't work, this sell didn't work, this sell didn't work. They all got stopped out. So you're just not going to get a buy signal because as you move up on a 5-minute chart especially, you get into way overbought situations. And can they extend in overbought situations? They obviously can. But again, that's not what we want to trade into. We don't want to trade into an overbought market and buy it, especially one that's coming into some resistance zones. So like I said, I'll give them a few more bars to see if we can get a sell stop and then one more sell trade. And if they can't do that, then we'll go ahead and shut it down. So if you want to take advantage of those coupons, you will definitely need to do that now. And if you want to join the rooms and get in there, we do this. I don't live stream in the room, but I do give the trades out live. And if you're in the room but don't have the indicator, you still get the trades, just not as quickly. So the advantage to having the indicator as opposed to being in the room is the real advantage for me to me is both, because you get the indicator and then you get all of the context around it. But the advantage to having the indicator over the room is that when this sell signal appears, I have to get the trade in. I have to enter my trade. I have to type everything in and send it, and that can take 10 to 15 seconds. So the sell signal may have appeared at 586.95 where I got in, but by the time I type it and get it into Discord, it might be down here at 586.50, and you get a terrible entry or a worse entry. Whereas if you had the indicator on your own screen, you would see the sell signal and go ahead and start entering already before you didn't have to wait for me to give you the information. So that's the difference in the advantage. They have come back, tested, and taken out this high, which does confirm that the probability is a trend day. However, like I said, 585, 588.50, 590 are two areas that I would look for rejection. So if we do get a sell stop here, I'm not sure. I guess I can see that it's a weak move up, meaning that there's weakness here, even though they're moving price higher. So it's probably lower volume. I don't have my volume on. I guess I can turn it on real quick. Yeah, volume is way falling off the cliff. So you're seeing a weaker move up. Hopefully we can get a sell stop and then a reversal candle, sell candle to trade off of. But if not, so be it. Just a slow day, that's all. Suzanne, if you're on the live call still, I'll send you an email either way. But if you're on the live call, you sent your TradingView username as your email. I need your actual TradingView username. And where you find that is if you come up here to this circle that has your letter in it. So mine's J for Jacob. It's right here next to this. My username is JC Gabbard. So if you could send me that name, I can't give you access with an email. I have to have this name here. So if you're not on here, I'll send an email, and I'm talking to no one, which is most of my day. But if you are, send me that updated username. Don't forget, guys, if you learned anything, had fun, like the discount codes, liked being on the stream, whatever, hit that like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We do this every Tuesday, as well as I put out videos 3 to 4 times a week, just depending on the schedules, with updates. And if you want to share anything, that's also beneficial. I would appreciate any of that. Thank you guys very much for that. Daniel, so we'll go over that real quick here. So I'm pretty sure what happened was, and guys, this is just so you guys know as well, this is important to know if you're signing up. So when you're signing up, if you go to membership plans, you scroll down to the indicators, right? If you want the yearly, that's what you're looking at. You go down and you get to this screen, you put in all your information. Make sure you put in your coupon code right here. So put in yearly 10. Hit enter. Make sure you hit enter and it turns green. Then decide whether you want to pay with credit card or PayPal. And if you want to pay with PayPal, you just hit PayPal. And then you hit sign up. And on the next screen, you will enter your payment information, or you will go through the payment of the indicator. So I think you're stuck right here. Hit sign up and you will be able to do that. So if you hit credit card and hit sign up, on the next screen, you'll put in your credit card. If you hit PayPal and hit sign up, on the next screen, it will let you set up your PayPal. Hopefully that helps you out. If it's not, shoot me an email with whatever the issue is. Still looking for this 1 day max level to hit and give us hopefully a sell stop, first of all, and then a sell signal off of that area, potentially even the 590 area. But again, guys, we do have a trend day setup, so be cautious. Just know that if you do get a pullback off of that area, VWAP and 21 are the likely destination, maximum destination. And if they get through that, that is huge bonus. Make sure you're doing it in Google, Daniel, or and clear your cookies and cache, maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but we'll work it out. Don't worry. If you keep having problems after the stream's over, I'll make sure you get the discount. How come we do not have a sell stop? I just went over that earlier because it's a weak buying move, so the volume is really low. Um, it's just prices moving higher on a very what I would call a weak move. But it's because the conditions aren't met is the real answer. When the conditions are met, you will get a sell stop. But right now, it's seeing this as a overall weak buying move because there's no volume behind it. There's other factors too, but I would have to dig in to find out what those factors are. If you look at here's another factor. If you look at the VOLD today, VOLD in Thinkorswim, if you want to look that up, you got to use a dollar sign in front of it. But the buying is really really weak today. Um, it's barely green, honestly, and the Russell is red. So the overall buying is not what you would call strong. The ADD is not strong. There's a lot of factors that make this a weak move up. Um, volume is not strong. So it doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that the market can't go higher. It means that the indicator is not going to give you um, a sell stop when it sees so much weakness around different parts of the market. Slow meandering higher. Lazy days are not days to short. Again, trend day in effect. We're back above the high after testing. So we are looking for one more shot, potentially off this 1 day max area, potentially off of the call wall. If they don't reject and give us a trade around the 1 day max and push through that, then we'll kind of wrap it up at that point. There's no reason to just sit here and watch the market meander higher. We'll look at a couple other markets real quick since nothing's going on. Yeah, semis are leading the charge heavy today. Nasdaq's up 1.6, but semis are up 3.5. That's a big deal. Nvidia's got to be coming into earnings soon. Gold's turned back positive a little here. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's at 103. So Bitcoin's still pushing. We'll go over all that on the midday call. All benefits of being in the room we go through. So on the midday call, we go through all the indexes. We go through the Mag 7. We go through gold, Bitcoin, silver, and then any stocks you guys bring to the table. So if you ever want to sign up for one of those, they're $5. You can just get in on one and see what it's like. It'll give you kind of insight to the room a little bit. Or you can buy a week of them if you want to do that. There's a lot of different ways to be a part of it. But you can get into those if you want to do that as well. That's all on that membership plans area, all in the link below of the video. All right, Daniel, looks like you got it figured out. Awesome. I'll get you set up after the call. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, this has just been a really slow day. You know, we had the one trade we missed by 8 cents down here. So close to being a winner, but small loser nonetheless. Just the one trade, market meandering higher. There's just not a whole lot to do here. So remember, you got about 20 to 30 minutes if you want to take advantage of the coupons. That yearly coupon with the EW courses will not be back. So make sure you take advantage of that if you want to. Again, 30-day money-back guarantee. Check it out, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. And we'll do it again next Tuesday. Hopefully a better result. I might have to move these off Tuesdays. They have been just horrible trading days. But at any rate, I appreciate all of you being here and listening to me babble about the market. It makes it more fun, that's for sure. So thank you guys very much. We'll do it again Tuesday. Again, those coupon codes expire in about 30 minutes. All right. Thanks, everybody.